Welcome to Biker Talk. I've had the Meteor 350 on loan from Royal Enfield for about 4 weeks to review and tell you what I like, what I don't like, and hopefully answer the question, is that bike good for a pie run? First up, I probably need to start by saying that I'm a big Royal Enfield fan. My partner Amber rides a Continental GT, which I absolutely love. I've had an Interceptor on loan for another review, which will be coming up on the channel in a few weeks. Again, love that bike. And I think Royal Enfield are now producing bikes that are as reliable as any on the market, and importantly, handle much better than you'd expect them to, considering the price they start at. I wanted to take the Meteor for a pie run on my usual weekend ride with a few mates down through the Royal National Park, but obviously due to the current situation here in Sydney, I had to make do with a few rides around my local area, as well as a commute into the office. Not to be defeated in my quest for a great pie, one of the trips I did was down to my local shops to buy some ingredients to make a pie at home. So if you're lucky, you'll get a bike review and a cooking lesson all in the one video. The Meteor features a brand new engine from Royal Enfield, an air and oil cooled 349cc that produces about 20 brake horsepower. It's got EFI and a 5-speed gearbox. Weighing in at 191 kilos wet, it's fairly light and has a very low seat height of 765mm, making it great for shorter riders. It's got 41mm non-adjustable telescopic forks and twin shocks on the back that are adjustable for preload. The Meteor has a 2-piston bi-brake caliper on a 300mm disc on the front and a single piston on a 270mm disc on the rear. It has tubeless tyres, the front on a 19-inch rim and the rear on a 17-inch rim. In terms of electronics, ABS is standard and has a very cool little navigation unit that Royal Enfield has called Tripper that connects to your phone via a free app. It also has a USB charging port located on the handlebar. The Meteor is LAMS approved, and in Australia the price starts from $7,690 on the road for the base model, the Fireball. There's a lot to like about the Meteor if you keep in mind what the bike is. It's a 350cc LAMS approved single. The very first thing I noticed when I jumped on the Meteor was how light it felt and how easy it was to ride and how very comfy that stock seat is. Royal Enfield, my backside says thank you. As you sit on the bike, your feet are in front in a kind of a cruiser-like position. All up, it's a really comfortable bike to ride. And with the right roads, I reckon you could ride this bike all day. Certainly, there's enough power for a commute or a ride through a twisty road, and the engine is very smooth with a really nice exhaust note that just putts along. The Meteor looks good and the finish is really good. I really like the grips. They do reduce the minimal vibration that comes up through the engine, and the switch gear, the headlight with the halo, the taillight, the indicators are all really nice items. It looks like Royal Enfield have really upped the quality there and I think are now on par with brands like Triumph. The fact that it is a centre stand will make chain maintenance a breeze, and tubeless tyres are a practical option, although I reckon it would look better with spoked wheels. But that's just me. The brakes are more than adequate, but the thing I like most about the Meteor is the handling. You can tell that Royal Enfield and Harris Performance have really spent some time on it because it handles much better than a 349cc $8,000 bike has any rights to. As much as I tried, I could not get used to that heel toe shifter. I found it hard to get my size 10 boot under the lever and just couldn't get used to the heel shifter, so that's something that I wasn't really going to use. The one thing I did have a few issues with was cancelling the indicators. I found I needed to give it quite a firm push to cancel them, not just a flick like on some of the other bikes that I ride regularly. Mirrors looked okay, but I did find that they vibrate a bit once I got the speed up to about 80 kilometres, and I'd probably change them out anyway. As I said, they look okay, but there are nicer options around. I did find that the Meteor runs out of puff fairly quickly, so you feel you're changing gears quite regularly. I'm about 90 kilos. 95? Dry weight? Anyway, for someone about my size, riding at 80 kilometres an hour on a slight incline, I needed to keep the revs up so I didn't lose too much speed. It's something to be aware of, so for me, I could either lose a few kilos or ride bigger bikes. And I'll be looking forward to riding the Meteor 450 when it's announced. I love riding my bikes, but I also must say that I also love giving them a wash and a polish. The one thing I would say is there are a lot of spots where water can get caught, so make sure you dry it off properly. I always use a bike dryer, and I was amazed at how much water came out of the tank badges, the fuel cap, the gauges, and the mirrors. I know there's a problem with condensation on the gauges on the Interceptor and Continental GT, and although I didn't see any evidence of that on the Meteor, it's something to be aware of. I would also say that a bike dryer is a great addition to your cleaning and maintenance kit, and something that I use all the time. There's a neat little toolkit located behind the side panel, which should get you out of trouble if you need to do any maintenance on the road. And service intervals are pretty standard. Clean and lube the chain every 1,000 kilometres. Royal Enfield recommend checking the oil at 5,000 Ks, but if it were mine, I'd be doing an oil and an oil filter change then at home, as it seems a pretty simple bike to work on. At 10,000 kilometres, it needs a full service, which covers valve clearances, an oil filter, and an air filter change. I loved riding the Meteor. It was a fun little bike that has its place. It would be a great bike for a learner or a shorter rider because of how easy it is to ride and how light it feels, and because it does not feel intimidating to ride. If you're a commuter, it'll be a good option because of how manoeuvrable it is in traffic, but just be careful if you have lots of freeway riding to do. I can't emphasise strongly enough how well this bike handles. The ride position is extremely comfortable. The suspension is basic, but it does its job, and there's enough power to have a lot of fun. It's not a fast bike, so if you're after horsepower and speed, then I'd say have a look at something else. But if you're after a bike that is easy to ride, comfortable, and ready for just a cruise, then the Meteor could just tick all the boxes. I've got to say, I think any bike is a good bike for a Pty run. It just depends on where the Pty shop is located. If you don't have too many kilometres on the freeway and we're only dealing with country roads or commuting in traffic in order to get your Pty, then yes, the Royal Enfield Meteor is a great bike for a Pty run. Well, that's about it. No Pty run for me today, but I do have a steak and stout pie in the oven, and it's nearly lunchtime and I'm starting to get a little bit hungry. Till next time, stay safe and enjoy your next Pty run.